Charly is a 1968 science fiction drama romance film starring Cliff Robertson as the titular character Charlie Gordon. Now this movie is based off the excellent classic sci-fi novel Flowers for Algernon. So, I mean, a lot of children or grade school students or high school students are forced to read that book. I was never, it was never on my curriculum, but I read the book last year, I believe, and it was really good. It's very sad and emotional, very heartbreaking story. So that's why I didn't like this movie. Charly has a really good performance by Cliff Robertson. He plays a simpleton with a low IQ who's been trying to, you know, better himself with school. However, he hasn't been able to, you know, do that, and he's the butt of jokes from his bakery buddies. He sweeps the floors. He does the minimal job. They play pranks on him a lot. But they just the teacher that he has, she teaches a lot of different people. She's able to get in connection with a special experiment which will change his brain. Basically, it's a surgery that changes like enzymes or something that'll let him, you know, learn better or something. It's very vague. It's better explained in the book. But essentially, the movie has some pretty bad pacing. Charly doesn't get his surgery till almost 40 minutes into the movie. And then the last hour or so is mostly romance stuff. He basically falls for his teacher and they have a relationship. And a lot of stuff's rushed because they can't dedicate large chunks of the book that are very important. For example, the book has a lot of emphasis on his workplace and his relationship with his two co-workers, then three co-workers, and there's like many scenes of him, you know, working in the bakery. But the movie version changes that to like a factory. There's like 30 of them there, and so it kind of ruins that dynamic a little. And there's only 3 scenes in the bakery, and 2 of them are pranks, or like most of the scenes are pranks. So they don't really have that heart-wrenching, you know, conflict of interest that happens later. There's just stuff that has to be left on the cutting room floor that can never make it into the movie. So it's not the best form, but the movie could have been longer. But yeah, the ending's completely rushed. You know, there's some interesting, you know, elements of playing around with, you know, visual mediums, like making stuff look like a trippy TV show. It takes place in it was filmed in the 60s. But overall, besides Cliff Robertson's performance, there's not much else too loud for the film. It doesn't feel as emotionally hard-hitting as the book, for one thing, which is hard to do because the book is really good. The book's also like that too, in the sense that the beginning's very slow because you're sort of reading it in the perspective of him learning, and you slowly get to see his like language improve and his writing skills. The movie does the opposite, where they just show too much of the before and not enough after, and then the ending's super rushed. So Charly is a pretty interesting concept, but I don't think it captures the heart of the book very well. It seems a little bit rushed, and you know, none of the scenes are too memorable. I would not recommend, you know, if a kid decided to watch this movie instead of reading the book thinking they could, you know, have it for the book report or whatever, it definitely would not compare, and the teacher would definitely notice. So I give Charly a 6 out of 10.